This is devotion number 7, and we're talking about failure, when servants fail. Let me read from Psalm 51. For the director of music, a psalm of David, when the prophet Nathan came to him after David had committed adultery with Bathsheba. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love. According to your great compassion, blot out my transgressions. At youth group on Friday night, we were talking about the parable of the lost son to the youth, and we asked them a question as they joined the Zoom meeting. We said, when you returned from running away from home as a child, how were your parents most likely to respond to you? Were they most likely to punish you? Were they most likely to turn you away and send you out again? Or were they most likely to be just happy that you'd returned? You know, often as Christians in our service to one another, we can fail. We can run away from home, so to speak. And when we come back to God or think about serving Him again and His people again, we can feel like imposters. We can wonder, is He going to punish us? Is He going to send us away again? How can I regain this sense of belonging with God? How can I know that I have that? Well, David speaks into this moment, doesn't he? He's committed adultery with Bathsheba. He has failed in his service. He has been selfish, and we can be similarly. So I think we can learn something from David here. The first thing I notice is that he goes to God, doesn't he? He faces up to his problem and he goes to God. He recognizes first and foremostly, actually, when we fail in our service to one another, it's really a failing of our service to God, of honoring Him. And so he recognizes that God is the one that he needs to turn to. And so he goes to God. And what does he ask God for? He says, God, have mercy on me. He's asking for something he doesn't deserve. He's asking for God's compassion, God's forgiveness. And now notice here that he's asking for something he doesn't deserve. How can he believe that he will receive that? That's a question we often have, isn't it? We long for God's mercy, but how can we know that we'll get it? Well, David, notice in this passage, for the rest of the psalm, and I encourage you to read the whole thing later, David doesn't say, have mercy on me, O God, according to the fact that from now on I'll live perfectly, or according to the fact that I'll make it up to you, or according to the fact that actually I'm pretty good on the whole, according to the fact that look at all the other things that I do, according to the fact that I didn't really mean it, according to the fact that I deserve to be treated than how other people would be treated because I'm a king. I'm someone who serves a lot of the time, so I deserve to be treated differently. He doesn't say, God, forgive me according to any of those things, because all of those things would be untrue. They'd be false. He wouldn't find solace in any of them because he can't live up to them. What he says is, God, have mercy on me according to your unfailing love. What's he talking about there? According to your unfailing love. He's talking about God's covenantal love with his people, God's steadfast love, a promise-making and promise-keeping God love that God has to his people, and especially to David. David rests his finding of forgiveness not on himself and what he can do, but on God, who he is, and what he's promised to do. Now, for all of David's unworthiness, he knows that he still belongs. Now, this is true for Christians as well. Have you ever wondered what New Testament means? The New Testament, where we've got all the accounts of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, and the letters from the apostles for what it means for the church. New Testament means new covenant. We have this unfailing love. We have God's covenantal love made to us in the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And so we know that even when we feel unworthy, if we come to God asking for his forgiveness through Jesus Christ, who lived a perfect life, who died our death so that we might have the belonging that Jesus has with the Father, if we go to God and through Jesus Christ trust him for forgiveness, then we know, even though we might feel unworthy or be unworthy because we have failed in our service to others, that we still belong because of this covenantal love that God has for us. So I want to encourage you today, church, no matter how you're feeling or how many failures you have had in the past, trust in God's steadfast, unfailing, covenantal love for you and for your forgiveness. Let's go to him like David did.